Anyways, the blood packs. Maybe the blood isn't from Setsuka, but from the blood packs at the infirmary. The blood packs from the infirmary? But we don't have any proof that anybody used them.
Wait, I know. I saw them disappear. I told this to Sora, right? All the blood packs had disappeared just this morning.
Yes, because of Tori's account, this is a sure possibility. Wait, you even checked the infirmary items?
I believed that this was something only I could do, so I was going to try to cover up as much ground as possible.
Truya, if you noticed the blood packs being taken, you should have at least told us that. Do you really not trust us that much?
Oh wait, did something happen between you guys? We can talk about this later. That isn't the focus right now. What do you think, Shobai? What do you mean, what do I think? Of course that's what happened. Though I didn't expect there to be a freak here that keep record of all that. Poor Tsuruya. He may be a freak, but he's my freak. There were a bunch of empty blood packs thrown away near the ghost house. All the blood in the ghost house is fake. A small performance by the culprit. But why go through the hassle of divert our attention to the ghost house? And sure enough, we were all focused on the ghost house until Shobai stood up. Like Shobai said, even when we went over last time about the fact that the place and body was found isn't necessarily the place the person was killed. The shock factor of the scenery at the ghost house was enough for us to gloss over that.
If they had put that much effort into the ghost house, to make us think that the ghost house was where Setsuko was killed, that means that
the actual crime happened in the pool, not at the ghost house. Uh-huh. It was a trick by the culprit to make you not even think twice about any place other than the ghost house.
But to use all those blood packs, what if someone needs a blood transfer or something?
There's no need to worry about that. I'll make sure to replenish the stock after the trial. There's still more. Well, the amount of blood used was a lot less than the actual amount of blood packs taken. You call that a lot less? Well, let's just leave it at that for now. And maybe they need to miscalculate the amount of blood they needed. The important part is that the crime happened at the pool. You all got that part right. Well, the only attractions that had IDs with no out records were the ghost house and the pool. And we just discussed the fact that the ghost house couldn't have been the place where Setsuka died. If you guys had something called brains, maybe I wouldn't be doing this much work. When did Shobai become the MVP of this trial? That thing is smart after all. Probably even more so than Kanade. It's so unfortunate it only uses it for selfish gains. Oh, okay. Kanade, what's wrong? I've been listening to you all this time. But you're quite the comedian, aren't you? There it is. These are the crazy sports I've seen before.
All these contradictions, yet you stick to your delusions. Well, sure. Let's just assume that the ghost house wasn't the place where Setsuka died.
Oh, she's so creepy.
Then what about the pool? Are you saying the pool is a possible place?
Is it not?
Sora, the pool gate records.
Sorry?
The pool gate records. Show them to me.
All right.
We can ignore the last two records made by Yoriko when we were searching for Setsuka. Let's take a look at the ones before them. Whether it's the pool or the ghost house, there's an ID without an out record, and that's Setsuka. We're all on the same page about that, right? And Setsuka's ID should be the one that entered at 1724 NU30D2.
Yup.
If you look at the gate records here, two IDs entered at 8:44 and 8:45 and left at 9:22 and 9:54, respectively. In other words, there was no one at the pool between 9:54 till 12:54. And we have only one suspect left, CN9FU3, who was entered at 12:54. If Setsuka died at the pool, the person with this ID must be the culprit, right?
I guess so. What about that?
Shobai said that the ghost house wasn't a possible suspect, as there wasn't enough time for the culprit. But our suspect at the pool, CN9FU3, left only 1 minute after Setsuka had entered.
What?
Now, a quote from your own words, Shobai. Idiots. You think that time's enough to chop up someone like that? About 2 hours. Maybe. 1 minute. Even if Setsuka died immediately upon entering, it would be impossible.
But by that logic, it is impossible for both the ghost house and the pool to be the crime scene. Wait, Even if the pool is where Setsuka died, we found the body at the ghost house. Couldn't they just kill Setsuka at 1724 and immediately leave with the body? I see. After all, what do gates matter to a dead body?
So you're saying that the culprit somehow took care of the crime scene at the pool? And left at 1754, carrying Setsuka's dead body to the ghost house?
If the pool is the place, then this is the only way the culprit could have...
I'm sorry to inform you, but that is also impossible.
How come?
The pool is at Block C, while the ghost house is at Block A. They are completely opposite sides of the park. Do you think anyone could walk that distance without getting caught? Carrying a dead body of all things. By your theory, the culprit needed to leave immediately after killing Setsuka, leaving no time for cutting up the body. Then we're back at the start. Even if you somehow cheesed it and made it to the ghost house, it'd be too late if you start the dismemberment then.
And then what? Where did Setsuka die? How did she end up like that? This seems theoretically impossible.
Well, I admit that my first theory was debunked by Shobai. That means we have to start from square one.
No need for that. The crime is still possible even if we assume that Setsuka Chiyobukuro died in the pool.
Really? Now what nonsense are you on about? There's a clear contradiction here.
Bullshit. It's all possible if there's an accomplice.
An accomplice?
Shobai, you might not know this since you were always sleeping, but accomplices cannot exist. Even if there is an accomplice who helped the real culprit, only one person can win and escape. There are no benefits to becoming an accomplice. Shut up and just listen to me. Well, the older sis from the twins that you guys suspected, yeah, she's definitely not the Blackened. That's for sure. But she did enter the ghost house and left the hairpin there, so it's hard to say that she isn't unrelated to this case.
So you're saying that my sis is an accomplice? Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
You said it yourself. You don't have any memory and you lose memory when you're in a pinch. An accomplice who helped the crime but lost memory of doing so. Don't you think it's too good of an opportunity to miss?
What are you trying to say?
By my theory, the real culprit used their twin sis in their own crimes. Give her a big mental shock or two, and then use her as an accomplice. Once the deed is done, her memory will disappear, concealing the existence of the accomplice. Wait, Shobai, but that raises some questions. If that's true, then the culprit needs to know the fact that if Hibiki loses her memory, if she receives a mental shock. Well, duh, that's why the person who knows that is the real culprit. Someone who knew about Hibiki's secret used her as an accomplice? Wait, the only person who readily knew that fact was... Yeah. Sorry, I called it a little too early, but, like, I'm pretty sure it's you. As soon as you did that sprite, I'm like, yep, that's the crazy girl that I saw everyone obsess over in 2019. The only person who already knew Hibiki's tendency to lose her memories is you, Kanade Otonokoji. Ironic, ain't it? You're the one who revealed the fact. Congrats, you scored your own goal. Kanade Otonokoji. She's the one who did it.
Wait a minute. Kanade's the culprit?
What, you got a problem with that?
Well, not exactly, but she helped us throughout the last trial as well.
By that logic, Emma also helped out during Yuri's case as well. Wait, not everything has been confirmed yet. And we can't be sure whether there was an accomplice or not. Shobai, why do you think there's two with the culprit? I mean, I know I did the trial by myself because we were about to die if I didn't. But even so, you sure keep your brains only as decorations, don't you? The reason why Shobai is so fixed on Kanade being the culprit. Let's listen to what he has to say. What does he have to say? This is a long one. Well, there are a lot of reasons to suspect. But first was the state of the corpse.
The state of the corpse? The dismembered corpse, you mean?
What do you think was the cause of death?
Huh, I thought it was dismemberment.
We don't know about that yet, bro. The files didn't mention the cause of death.
The file said that something sharp was the murder weapon.
So perhaps she was stabbed by a knife and then dismembered?
Then she'd have some traces of being stabbed on her body.
Was there none?
Every body part was checked. There weren't any traces of trauma on the body. No, not the missing the missing abdomen. Then how did she actually die? It's what Nikkei said. Yeah. Getting interesting. I'm so curious though, like, what was her motive? Like, I'm pretty sure it was her, but like, what is her motive? Wait, Nikkei, did you say that we searched through every body part? Yeah, it was hard for my eyes to do it, but we managed to. What you said just reminded me. It seems like every part was carefully laid on the altar, but that's not the truth. One part, to be precise, the abdomen, was missing. Right, Shobai? What are you asking me for? But the girl's right. The body is missing from the hip up to the part below the chest. It was also written in the monochrome file as well, if I recall correctly. The area around the stomach was missing.
Wait, the fact that they deliberately got rid of that part, that must mean there was some clue on the abdomen area.
Maybe they stabbed her there? They might have tried to hide the cause of death.
But why? I doubt there was a reason important enough for them to hide that. There was actually. And what's that? You might not know this, but the stabbing mark on the body is different depending on the hand that you use. To be short, you can determine whether the stabber is right-handed or left-handed using the marks. Really? But what does that have to do with hiding the cause of death? They say that only 10% of all people are left-handed. The majority are right-handed, and I reckon this might be the likely situation amongst us as well. Now, what if the mark indicated that a left-handed person had stabbed the missing abdomen? You're suggesting that the culprit is left-handed? God, I'm asking this just in case. What hand do you usually use?
My left hand.
Bingo. That was amazing.
You thought of all that just from the missing abdomen? How in the world did your thought process work?
There's one thing I would like to ask Shobai. How did you know that Kanade was left-handed? You did suspect it based on the fact that the culprit was left-handed, right? That girl did some performance thingy on the second island, right? In front of the shrine. The guitar she used was left-handed. You remember that from that long ago? Wait, maybe all this time you were just pretending that you weren't interested in us, but in reality you were?
Don't make me laugh. You might be under the impression that you finally solved the case with your incredible intellect. But if we're talking about lefties, there are plenty of people here who are left-handed besides me. Like Aroha.
Wait, what? Me? And how did you know that I was left-handed? Wait, doesn't matter right now.
You always gripped your pen in your left hand, right? How could anyone miss something that simple? And Shobai, you still haven't solved the contradiction of the gate records. You need to move the body from the pool to the ghost house in Block A somehow. Even with the inclusion of an accomplice in crime, that is still impossible.
I'm so sorry, Missy, but that ain't quite the case.
What?
Did you really think that I suspect you just from the stabbing marks? This is just a conviction. It's not like the abdomen was actually found, and I had material proof of the stab wounds. I just tried to come up with a reason why the culprit had to go through the hassle of getting rid of that part. Then how did you solve the contradiction of the gate records? I'll go over them now. What do you think was the actual reason this contradiction occurred from both the ghost house and the pool in the first place? Well, an alive person must use their handbooks in order to get through the gate. But since Setsuka couldn't do that, as she was dead, only the in records will get recorded. So, when we ruled out the places without any suspicious out records, only the pool and the ghost house were left. Think about that once more. Only a virtual ID gets saved on the gate records, right? You all assumed that ID was Setsuka's just because it had no out records.
So what? Just tell us already.
Hasty, eh? To put it simply, all of the gate records of the attractions can be manipulated. Oh, that's what he was doing with Aroha's thing earlier, I bet. When he took it, when we were investigating it. What?
Wait, what? The gates already require you to use your handbooks to enter or leave. How in the world would you manipulate that?
Who said anything about using your own handbooks? Monochrome never once mentioned that you have to use your own handbook. He just simply stated that you need to use a handbook. And then that means... Yup. You can use a handbook of another person to go through the gates.
Don't lie to us. How does it make any sense?
Well, it does. I tried it. Ah, so back when we first arrived on the third island. Yep, I just mentioned that. Oh, perfect timing. One of you, I don't care who, just give me your handbook for a sec.
Shobai!
For you to speak to us first, what's gotten into you? Enough about that. Give me the thing. I need to test something. No. No. What do you offer in return? It's not like you cooperated with us throughout this time. Then you, give me yours.
Me? But why?
Aroha, at times like these, you need to act strong or they'll think you're a pushover.
You're right. Why would I give you my handbook?
You haven't even thanked me the last time when I woke you up. Give it to me now unless you want your head ripped off.
Here it is.
Aroha, don't just hand it to him. So the reason he took Aroha's handbook was to try that out? Yeah. Everyone, do you know what that means? It means that our basis for the gate records was wrong from the start. But even if what Shoei said is true, it only became harder or even impossible for us to identify who was who. Nope. If you assume that the gate records were rigged and reversed the thinking process, the case begins to unfold. My theory is this. Setsuka Chibukuro died in the pool, and the time of death was probably around this morning.
Morning?
Give me the records again. I'll go over them one by one for you. As you said, Setsuka Chibukuro went somewhere by the culprit's request, and that was the pool. Got that? If you look at the pool gate records, Setsuka Chibukuro's ID is probably IS3JC2, who went in at 8:45. DJ6SX7, or should I say Miss Conde over there, entered 1 minute ahead of her. But that would mean that Miss Little Sis left at 9:22, only 40 minutes to spare. And that's where the accomplice comes into play. I called out the twin sis as the accomplice, remember? 9:22 is exactly when she entered the pool, using the handbook of her little sis.
What's going on right now? I don't quite understand.
Me too.
Oh, I see. Conde has her sis who is waiting outside. Hand her the handbook from inside. The gates only check if a human being passes through them, so objects do not matter. The little shit was shown the corpse by the slightly littler shit. And just as we were told, she receives a mental shock and loses her sanity, becoming the best crime tool ever, an accomplice that loses her memory. After that, the littler shit left the swimming pool at 9:54, setting up the pool sign so that no one would enter.
Wait, what? I thought the out record at 9:54 was IS3JC2. Wasn't that Setsuka?
According to this theory, she would have already died at that point. Now that it's been confirmed that you can have a handbook that belongs to another, that would have been Hibiki using Setsuka's handbook.
What about after that?
The littler shit came back at 12:54, carrying the tools needed to dismember the corpse. She used her own handbook at this time. After spending about 5 hours cutting the body up, they both left at 17:24 and 17:25 with the body pieces. They probably got rid of the sign at that point. The little shit throws the sign over the gate at 17:24, and the littler shit puts the sign back in the swimming pool and leaves at 17:25. It's as simple as that. Here, they can use their own handbooks this time. Now, what do you think will be the end result of the gate records if we follow these steps? The end result, well... Oh... Hibiki used Conde's handbook when entering the pool, right? And since Conde's ID had already an in record, it would show an out record. So when Hibiki left through the gates, the resulting output would have an in record. I see, so that's how the pool had an ID without an out record. If we apply Shobai's theory, the actual reality of the pool gate records would be like this. 8:44 and 8:45. Those two records here would be from Kanade and Setsuka, respectively. And the out record at 9:22 was Hibiki using Kanade's handbook to enter the pool. The out record at 9:54 was Kanade using Setsuka's handbook to leave. And she entered with her own handbook with the tools at 12:54. Finally, after she dismembered the body, both she and Hibiki left at 17:25 and 17:24, respectively. Here, even though Hibiki was already inside the pool, this was the first time she used her handbook on the gate, which resulted in an in output. Thus, the ID without an out record, NU30D2, was not Setsuka, but actually Hibiki. Okay. You can look at it now. Try to make sense of it. So, because it's a little confusing with like the names that are like XP1WW4. So, okay. Kanade goes in first, and then Setsuka goes in a minute after. She kills Setsuka, and then Kanade goes out using her thing, and Hibiki uses Kanade's thing to go out, and then Kanade uses Setsuka's to go out, and then they go back in. But because it was okay, sorry, I'm just like making sentences in my brain because I'm a little confused. Okay, so she's dead. She gives her Setsuka's. She kind of takes Setsuka's thing to leave, and when Hibiki, when Hibiki came in the first time, she took Kanade, so it looked like Kanade's was leaving, but she was actually coming in for the first time. And then, so it looks like out. Okay. Sorry, this is a lot. So then Kanade has a record of going out. But she actually left with Setsuka's, and then she got her original one back, and then she went back in, and then Hibiki went out for the first time because she was just there the whole time. I guess her sister went and got the tools. Yeah, it looks like she was just hanging out in there. Okay. And then Kanade went out with her own. Okay.
It's getting a bit complicated. Could you give me a simpler explanation? Sora's explanation was simple enough. You couldn't even understand that.
Well, she's an idiot after all.
But, wait, I get that you're assuming that the culprit used the time between 12:54 and 17:24 to dismember the body. You'd need an ample time after all. But it took 3 hours for the culprit to return to the pool from 9:54 to 12:54. And do you think this would take 3 hours for me, the culprit, according to your theory, just to find this dismemberment tools?
Who cares? The signpost would have kept anyone out of the pool anyway. You had loads of time to spare. Roha, you said that you saw Hibiki enter the ghost house a bit before 18 o'clock, right? So that must have been at 17:55, where they arrived from the swimming pool. It must have been then that the twins moved with the Colts to the ghost house. After all, the body was actually found there.
But how?
Come again?
I told you this before. How would you move from Block C to Block A without getting caught?
The frickin' Satsuki dolls, you put it in there! I called that a really long time ago.
The only show I deduced is how the gate records could be explained, and how the murder could have happened in the pool. Even he doesn't know the body was moved, right?
She definitely has a point. The corpse had the head, body, both arms, hands, legs, and the feet. 10 pieces altogether. How would you manage to move them without getting caught?
The first ever record of someone entering the ghost house was 1755. Since we have Aroha as a witness, we can surely say that it was Hibiki who entered at that time. But by Shobai's theory, the culprit left the pool at 1755, leaving only 30 minutes to move the body to the ghost house.
But now that we know that there's an accomplice, it would take half the time and effort to move all the body pieces, right?
So each carries 5 total pieces. Do you really think that's possible?
I'm sorry.
Maybe that's some sort of bag that had the corpse inside. You know, the ones in movies and manga. A corpse bag. And what if someone finds you? How are you going to explain it to them? What if they open the bag or something?
That really is the main problem. Forget the time constraints, you need to stealthily move the body without getting caught. I just thought of an incredible solution. What is it, Nikkei? The monorail. We have the monorail that goes around each department in Satsuki Land. If they use that, it would take around 5 minutes from each department to department, and as a plus, you wouldn't be seen as well. Oh, that's right. The monorail. Sure, you can use the monorail to move without being seen and save time as well. But was it really possible for the culprit to use the monorails? Huh? I don't think it was. It's gonna, like, maybe the monorail rules? Yeah, okay. Mika, I'm afraid that's impossible. How come? It's definitely a possibility. No. By the theory we're going with, the culprit must have moved the corpse between 1725 and 1755. If you see the monorail timetable, you'll quickly see that the monorails weren't active at that time. What? Really? Monoko, did you say the monorails were only active every other hour?
That's probably right. I was at Satsuki Land early for the 18 o'clock parade, but I don't recall seeing any monorails pass by.
Monorail. Yeah, that's right. Newsy, you said it. She used the monorails. What? But didn't Sora just say that? Shut up and listen. First, she leaves the pool at 17:25 and moves the pieces to the Block C monorail station. This shouldn't take long, right? She would be moving within the same department. She then leaves the corpse there and uses Setsuka's handbook to call out Airhead Girl to the Mirror Mansion. Then the older sis moves to the ghost house at Block A to deliberate to be seen entering the ghost house by the bubble-headed girl.
She did it on purpose? Why do such a thing?
How would accuse Hibiki as the culprit in a trial? And we actually did so at the beginning of the trial based on Aroha's account.
Oh, wait. Why do you all think of me when you heard Bubblehead Girl?
I mean, you are bubble-headed after all.
Mikado, why are you picking on Aroha? Why don't you pick on someone your own size, you worthless criminal? Go kill yourself.
My broken heart. Would you shut up for 1 second? I'm trying to focus, damn it. First, 17:55, the older sis enters the ghost house to cut the fuse and put out the fire to make the ghost house dark. Next, she has to hurry, because there's another gate record only 2 minutes after she entered. Since she used Setsuka Chiibukuro's handbook when she entered, she used her own when leaving the place. This way, 2 in-outputs get recorded, and she leaves no sign that she ever left the place. You all saw the parade together at 18 o'clock, right? The littler shit goes to see that, while the little shit goes to Block A monorail station. The monorail will start moving at 18 o'clock, so she rides it from Block A to C, and carries the body parts back to Block A through the monorail. This way you'd be able to solve both the time and stealth issue.
Amazing. It looked to be impossible at first, but now we have a clear grasp on what actually happened.
And so, what's next? Continue.
There's not much left after this. Hide the body parts somewhere near the ghost house. After confirming the white hair over there left at 1936, go inside the ghost house with the body. Here, you again use Setsuka Chiibukuro's handbook at the gate. Since they used Setsuka's handbook when first entering the ghost house, this time the resulting output would be an out record. Exactly, everything left is simple. Set up the corpse on the altar, create a pool of blood using the blood packs, and then it's finished, the newly reformed ghost house, now with an actual corpse. Now the ghost house gate records until this point can be summed up to this. How is it? This is the result of the case. Kanade Otonokoji is the culprit and Hibiki Otonokoji as the evidence.
That can't be.
Honestly, if we consider Shobai's unusual behavior into account, it's hard to trust him, but it's logically sound and his reasoning is perfect.
Kanade? Are you really the culprit? Did you really murder Suka? And I helped you without any knowledge of that? What should I do? I don't know what to do.
Sis, don't cry. That beauty hag is just talking nonsense.
Got any rebuttals?
Rebuttal? Are you really thinking to yourself that you really cracked the case?
Okay, but what about those guys I was talking about? The Satsuki plushies. I thought for sure someone was gonna hide. Maybe not the body because they're bloody, but maybe. Oh, never mind. I'm stupid. I feel like they have to come into play somehow. Am I dumb? I'm probably dumb. Oh God, I don't like that sprite.
Let's get straight to the point. You're completely wrong, full of contradictions again. And to marvel at this stupid of a theory, my, you all have questionable brains, don't you?
I find it very funny how when Tsurugi made faces like these, I turned into the biggest simp, and when Kanade does it, I'm afraid. What does that say about me?
What? What part of it is a contradiction?
As much as this theory is holes like it's Swiss cheese, the main problem are 2 big contradictions. Shobai, you told us that after leaving the pool, we left the body at the station and used the monorail to move the ghost house, right? And remind us, whose handbook did we use when entering the ghost house?
You said it was Setsuka's.
Do you think that's possible?
Isn't it possible? The culprit must have had her handbook ever since she was murdered.
Everyone, you may be able to pass through the gates using someone else's handbook. But only handbooks that are active are valid in this case.
Shobai? Shit, you're right. I made a mistake. I see. Even if you have Setsuka's handbook, only Setsuka herself can turn it on.
Why does that matter? We had the same issue with Emma, but she used Kokoro's fingers.
No, bro, that was possible because Emma cut and kept Kokoro's fingers. Shobai specifically said that the culprit left the corpse at the station. According to this theory, you would never be able to turn Setsuka's handbook on at the ghost house.
It takes a long time to arrive at Block A from Block C, even at running speed. Even if you use Setsuka's hand to turn the notebook on before you leave, it'll be turned off by the time you reach the ghost house.
You're right. As we discussed in the last trial, the touchscreen lock on the handbook's sleep mode requires the owner's fingerprints.
Wait, speaking of Emma, why didn't the culprit just use the method Yuki mentioned? The method Yuki just mentioned? You mean cutting the fingers off and carrying them? Impossible. Setsuka's wrists were cut off. Her fingers were all fine. I mean, you could just carry those hands to turn the notebooks on.
No, that's probably not it. Then we'd again have the problem of how to carry the body without getting caught. Even if hands are small compared to the whole body, they'd still have considerable size and you're doomed. If they bleed, there's too much risk at hand. Maybe they managed to luckily carry the body without getting caught?
Really? Then let's assume the culprit somehow solved this issue and let's go over the next problem.
Can we really go over the issue that easily?
Well, we have a much bigger problem here. Shobai said that the culprit hid the body parts near the ghost house to wait until Sora left the place. May I ask you where that place is? How in the world can you find a place to hide 10 body pieces? If there's a pile of body parts near the ghost house, anyone would have noticed it.
I think they were in the freaking Satsuki plushies.
It would seem unnatural if you hid it all inside a bag. But if you hide them separately, it would take time for the culprit to gather back the pieces. You're not really going to say the culprit also managed this through luck as well, are you?
Maybe they covered like the black bags that we found in the fireplace. They covered the body parts with that so they wouldn't get blood everywhere, and they put them in the like guys because we didn't see anything in them. We would have seen blood if they were in there, I think.
Well, if you are, we have our trusty Sora. She searched every nook and cranny near the ghost house, right, Sora?
Oh yeah, I searched not only the inside of the house, but also the outside as I was leaving the place. If there's a corpse hidden near the ghost house, I would have noticed it right away. No, wait, maybe it's not the ghost house.
Hide it in somewhere else other than the ghost house? Poor old Shobai. But we searched every other place as well. Sora, Aroha, and I searched basically everywhere in Block A, so there are no other options, Shobai.
Dude, who do you think I'm suspecting here? If you're saying that you, who I suspect is the culprit, searched Block A, I mean, do I really need to say more?
What do you mean?
She just has to hide the body in the place that she searched in. She's the culprit, and all she has to do is say,
There was nothing here!
So correct me if I'm wrong, Shobai. You're saying that the body was hidden at the complete opposite side of the park from the ghost house?
what?
The place I investigated was that area, the storehouse and beyond. I hate to break it to you, little Shobai, but that's a bit too far away from the ghost house. Don't you think?
You little bit.
Wait, what about that? Is there a problem with it being too far?
We can't move the body around when there's everyone running around in Block A, right? The culprit must have moved the body parts at least after Sora left the ghost house, which is 1936.
If they're in the freaking, Satsuki plushies, it's not as far. It's in that block. They just need to, like, somehow get them over there. Which, I don't know when she would do that, but... Listen, I'm going all in this theory.
According to the gate records, the culprit carried the body parts 6 minutes later at 1942, right?
Ah, so that's it. If you had the body parts too far away from the ghost house, you wouldn't be able to retrieve them within the next 6 minutes.
Sora even said that she looked outside the ghost house. So she would have stayed there at least 1 to 2 minutes after that. So we would only have about 4 to 5 minutes to move the body parts. If you had to move all 10 corpse pieces within that time limit, you'd have hit it somewhere close to the ghost house.
Wait, both Miss Older Sis and Younger Sis are in it together according to Shobai, right? So if they move them together...
I told you it's impossible even for 2 people. They would have to make 2 round trips even if there was an accomplice. Even in the case that we hit the nearest storehouse, it's impossible to make 2 round trips within 4 minutes. Unless you have teleportation skills, that is.
Teleportation? Then does that mean Mikado is...
Wait, even the rules mention that I cannot use magic in murders. You do remember it, right? You haven't forgotten about it, or me, right? Then, what's actually going on here?
Shobai, is there another way?
See, they're all ignoring you because you made such an idiotic comment.
I think you mean they're ignoring you. Be quiet in the peanut gallery over there. Was Shobai's theory wrong? Kanade definitely has a point there. What kind of method did the culprit actually use?
I think it's the plushie still. Gate records, fuse box, fireplace. Fireplace. Because that's the plastic thing. I think that's what it's going to be.
I was trying to think of another way. That fast. It would be impossible to move the corpse that fast.
I guess that Shobai's theory was wrong. Wait, that means the culprit actually managed to move the body without using the monorails? The only method to do so is to just hope for the best and not get caught.
Well, I guess that's the only solution we have now.
But the gate records were rigged, right? In that case, the culprit stayed inside 2 minutes. For 2 minutes inside the ghost house between blah blah blah. So they hid the body and cut the fuse during that time.
I think it's that, maybe? It would make sense. Sora might have missed the corpse since it was dark inside. After all, there were no other possible times that the culprit could have caused the blackout.
Let's try to find the contradiction from a structural standpoint of the ghost house. We can't afford to make the smallest of mistakes. If we consider the structure, we might find who's right. What?
I don't know. This and what Mikado said? Nope. I don't know. Ah. Okay. This is a long part 1. Jeez.
Mike, I'm afraid that would be impossible. Why? I get that you barely have enough time, but if you move at full speed.
Sora's right. 2 minutes is far from enough when you try and hide 10 body pieces. And more importantly, the ghost house fuse box is the problem. They opened it to cut the wires, remember? That means they had to visit the innermost part of the ghost house.
The fuse box was located just beside the entrance to the altar. And the altar is located innermost in the ghost house. Just going to and fro would take up all the time.
Maybe there's a secret passage that only the culprit knew of. They could have hidden the body there and gained access to the new fuse as well. The fuse box as well.
Please, can someone knock some sense into him? There's no way that kind of passage would exist. The most crucial thing is, if the culprit carried the body to the ghost house, the person who saw that should have noticed it. So how is it, Aroha? Did my sister enter the ghost house holding something in her hands or not?
What? Well, why are you so flustered?
Well, I just didn't expect to get called.
What did you say?
Aroha, seems like you're not very fond of the fact that you still have your head attached to your neck. Would it kill you to please pay attention? You told us that you saw my sis entering the ghost house around 1755.
Oh! She was empty-handed. If she was holding a piece of the corpse, I would have recognized it.
See? So, that means we didn't transport the body directly to the ghost house. I cannot be the culprit. And as mentioned before, there are too many contradictions to suspect my sister is the culprit.
I have something to inquire, Kanade. You have successfully shown us that you cannot be the culprit. But doesn't that mean you yourself admit that your first theory was wrong? Then now that it's come to this, who do you think is the actual culprit?
Well, honestly, I also need to think through this again. I was so focused on proving my innocence that I haven't come up with another theory yet.
Shobai, how about you? This is the first time you've stood up in a class trial. Is there any other theory you'd provide us with?
Wait a sec, I need to clear my thoughts. I missed something big.
Is this? No, it can't be. Our 2 brains are stumped. Please give your all. We're all counting on you.
This case is honestly so complex that even I cannot get a good grasp on it.
Oh no. We're doomed. I knew that we needed Kokoro. If Kokoro was here, she would have solved the case immediately, if only she hadn't been killed. Aroha, would you please shut up?
We're all doing our best, but
I'm tired. I want to go home, Mama, Papa. Please, would someone clog her mouth or something?
I mean, I'm kind of thinking that too. I feel bad for her, but also, like, I hate doing the crying noises. I know it's annoying, and it annoys me.
We have been through 2 class trials. Of course they were difficult, and we were stumped a couple times. But this is the first time that our reasoning came to a stop completely. The culprit of this case, who is it? How did they kill Setsuka? Even Kanade, who's the smartest out of us all, is having a hard time coming up with a solution. A person with no special brains or talent like me would never hope to help everyone in this case.
I've got it.
Kanade?
So that was it. Everyone, I know the culprit now.
Really? Oh, Kanade, I knew it. I believed in you. Hooray!
I need to thank Shelby for this. Without him, I would have believed without a doubt that my sister was the culprit. Nor would I have realized that the gate records had been rigged and that my sister was used.
So you admit to the fact that Hibiki is an accomplice?
No, my sister wasn't an accomplice. She was just literally used by the real culprit. The poor thing. The case was performed by a single person. A meticulous one at that.
So, who is it?
Let me spell out the clues for you. Follow along with me, everyone. First, just as Shibai said, they are left-handed. And they provided us with a false testimony so that my poor sis would get suspected.
It's not Aroha, come on.
And they had an alibi during the parade so that they could freely move around the monorail. I'm sure you've all realized who I'm talking about, right?
Left-handed false account has an alibi during the parade. The person who fits all the criteria is... It's not Aroha. She would never. The person who fits all the criteria is Aroha Nijue. It has to be you.
Hooray for Kanade! She has easily tracked down the culprit for us.
What? There's no way. No way in hell it's her. Alright, I'm gonna stop it here. That was a lot longer than part 1 of the previous trial. My gosh, I really want to do the second part, but it's been like 2 hours, so I probably should just save it for tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep though. I'm like so into this, and I have a ton of stuff to do tomorrow. This stinks. Anyways, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kanade. Like, I'm 99% sure. Like, we've seen her crazy sprites. Unless I'm wrong, but I think it was her. I still think it was her. I think somehow the stupid thing with the Satsuki plush is going to come in handy at some point. I don't know. I don't know why she'd do it. I think she's just probably freaking messed up. Just from the glimpses we've seen of her just being crazy. I think she's just crazy. I think she's just a terrible person. That's why she did it. Maybe she has a real motive. Who knows? But like the way Satsuki looked, there's no way it was a Roha. That's stupid. Anyways, that was a really exciting one. I really am enjoying this trial so far. Again, I really just want to keep playing, but my throat hurts and it's getting late and I have to go to the doctor tomorrow morning, so I can't stay up playing this, sadly. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. I love reading all of your thoughts and theories. And subscribe if you haven't. It really does help out me and it helps out my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night, wherever it is in the world when you're watching this. I hope it's fantastic. And with all that being said, I'll see you next time when we conclude Chapter 3 and this trial. Later.